I survived. They tried to take me down, but I can't be stopped like P. Diddy.
Right now, I'm riding out. I don't hear the storm. I don't hear anything but the government.
If they have called for your evacuation order, I beg you, I implore you to evacuate.
Because he's not going to survive in a sailboat.
It was pretty mellow.
So we made it through Hurricane Milton. What did we learn? First off, officials are insane and peddle in hyperbole to the point of criminality.
And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
I'm in evacuation zone A. I live on the water. I think I'm still alive. But it's not just that. It's not just her. It was all of them.
It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
We just need people to work with us and leave. I've heard people say it before. If you choose to stay where there is a direct hit, make sure you write your name on your arm so that we know who you are.
From little Lieutenant Dan to all the other people down here in Apollo Beach, Sarasota, Ruskin, Bradenton area that held it down. Congratulations, you survived. And here's my problem with everything. And instead of telling us all how we were gonna die or how scared we should be, they should have been preparing for the nightmare that a few toppled over trees was gonna cause. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this was not a massive storm. And I'm being a little facetious about a few toppled over trees. Some people lost everything. Some businesses will never open again. Shout out to the Ruskin Drive-In. But in my opinion, more issues came after the storm than during the storm. Let me start at the beginning. So have you seen, you had officials telling everybody they were gonna die. They canceled school, told people run for your lives. We did just get over Hurricane Helene, and the damage we had from the storm surge out here was crazy. Put video in of the storm surge. Another massive storm a week later, predicted to make a direct hit, is not what anyone was wanting to deal with, but here we are. So Milton makes landfall around 9:30 on Wednesday night, I think. Disclaimer, if you fact check all these times and stuff, understand that I'm not positive what today is, and I've been operating without power for a while. So I do have power now, by the way, but I could be wrong. My days are very mixed up, kind of. I don't know. I think today is Tuesday. Today is Monday. So yeah, maybe Wednesday. Storm made landfall Wednesday night. So landfall, 9:30 Wednesday night, about 20 miles south from my house. Now I live on the water over in Apollo Beach, and my biggest concern was the storm surge. About a week ago during Helene, the canal did try to come into my living room. Didn't quite make it, but this was supposed to have a much larger storm surge, so yeah, I was kind of concerned. Anyway, 9:30 landfall. The wind was pretty tough, but because we were north of the storm, there was really no storm surge that we had to deal with. Now, around 11 p.m., the eye passed, and we were on the other side of the storm. And that is when Milton tried to claim my roof. We lost some soffit, a few panels, but not the worst thing in the world. But about the same time that all of that was falling off and making all that noise outside, the power went out. Okay, great. Trees and goats and whatever are flying around outside. The wind sounds biblical. So after a few hours in the dark of listening to the wind try to rip my doors off and deciding that they were gonna hold, I finally passed out. I woke up around 5 in the morning the next day. That would be Thursday. Waited for the sun, then started moving around, cleaning up things and checking out the damage. Now at some point the day before, I think on that Wednesday, could have been that Tuesday. Either way, I had taken my car, I have a Tesla, I had taken my car to my brother's house. He lives, I don't know, maybe 20 miles away from me in an area that was supposedly less likely to flood. Now, my garage actually sits lower than the rest of my house. So if I did end up flooding, my Tesla would be in the garage, it would flood, and that would probably be a total loss. So I moved my Tesla to higher ground in hopes of keeping her safe. So after I wake up Thursday morning, I look around, everything's kind of, I decide I'm gonna go get my car from my brother's house. So we take our SUV out, and we drive the 20 miles over to get my car. So we drive over there, we pick my car up, I drive my car back, and then I still don't have power. That sucks. So a friend of mine, they have power at their house. They're going to kind of be hanging out over there. So I decided, sure, let's go over there. They also have a Tesla charger. Now, all the Tesla superchargers in my area are down, obviously, because all the power is out. Let's not make jokes about that, because you people couldn't get gas either, and we'll get to that. But anyway, all the superchargers are down. I obviously can't charge my Tesla at my house because my power is down. They have a Tesla and they have power. So I say, okay, we are going to take both cars over to their house. Now, my oldest son and his girlfriend had came over. So there was about, 6 of us. And obviously we all couldn't fit in my Tesla. So we took the SUV and the Tesla so I could charge the Tesla. On the way to take this Tesla over there to charge, I get a flat tire in the rear tire, right? Teslas don't come with spares or donuts. This sucks. Ugh. So I have to pull over. Now, luckily, I'm able to make it to a supercharger location that is not that far from me. And I pull up with this flat tire, basically riding on the wheel, but I parked the Tesla there. Long story short, I am forced to leave that Tesla there for a few days because, so Tesla has free roadside assistance and they will tow your car to a Tesla shop. I believe that's about it. They will get you won't be stranded on the side of the road, but if I have a critique against Teslas, it's this whole no spare thing. It's a problem because I had to leave the car there. Tesla was unable, they couldn't come out. Tesla was unable to come out and do any work on the tire. So they couldn't come out and they couldn't fix it. They couldn't patch it. They couldn't swap it. And the earliest that they could even get that done, now this is Thursday, I think. The earliest that they can get that done was like Tuesday, which is tomorrow as of the filming of this video, right? So they can't fix the tire. And they say they'll tow it to the Tampa Tesla shop, but I'm pretty sure that shop was closed due to impacts from the hurricane, FYI. Every place doesn't have power. Every place is closed. It is madness and mayhem. And this is day one after the hurricane has passed. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. So I guess I'll leave my car there. So I left my car at the supercharger. Then I end up getting back home. We stay there with no power again the next night. So now this is Friday and it all happened so crazily. It's hard to remember all the details. Friday comes. I say, okay, what I'm gonna do is go get a low profile jack from the store, take this tire off, find a tire shop, get them to replace this tire, take the tire back, put it on myself. Boom, I'm back in action. It sounds very easy. Now, before I do that, I know I have to go get gas now because I'm down to about 160 miles, 100 miles. I don't remember. I didn't have a ton of gas left. So in my head, it should be pretty easy to find a tire. Now, the shop that I got a tire from before, I know they carry these tires. FYI, sometimes can be rather difficult to find EV tires, especially the low profile tires. It's a really weird tire size for my car. So I call this place, and of course, the storm has wiped them out. I don't want to laugh. So I call this place that I got tires from before for my car, and I don't think they exist anymore. Milton threw some oak trees on the building, and it's, they're done. And a lot of tire shops are closed. People aren't coming to work because there's a ton of flooding in some areas and power outage everywhere. So a lot of people are just dealing with the aftermath of Milton. So nobody's at work. A lot of the tire shops are ruined. So that idea is out of the window. And I realized, okay, well, I need to get gas. So I was calling all these places while I was driving to go get gas. I pull up to the first gas station that I think may have gas, and the line is like wrapped around the building like 50. It is insane. And I would try to find some video or some pictures so you can try to get an understanding of this. But I mean, it is hundreds of cars trying to get gas. Most of these gas stations before Milton came, they either ran out of gas or they just taped up their pumps and were like, screw you, because people were trying to evacuate because, our mayor said, you're gonna die. But so there was no gas before Milton, and now there's no gas. Plus, they can't get tankers in, and there's so all these gas stations are unable to refill their fuel tanks. So they can't, there's no gas, right? So I wait in this line for about 2 hours, and when I get to the pump, finally, it gives me 75 cents of gas before it shuts off. Great. There are multiple fights at the gas station. People are going crazy.
Tensions boiled over north of Tampa. A brawl broke out at this gas pump line over long wait times.
They were fighting, like fist fighting. One girl hit another girl with a car.
Here in Brandon, Florida.
How long have you been waiting here? So just about almost going on 2 hours.
We go driving further looking for gas. We found another shop, a gas station, and the line is just as long. We get in line. There's some lady at the front that's screwing the line up and cars are skipping around her. And after about an hour of waiting, I join the people that are skipping around this lady and I skip around her. And it gets dicey to say the least. There's some it's a hostile environment. Several fights break out. The police finally show up. It's insane. But eventually, I do manage to get gas. So I fill my tank up and I drive back home. Now, I left the house around 10 in the morning thinking I was going to go fix this tire, get gas. I was going to do all these things. I get home at 6 in the evening, and the only thing I've done at that point is get gas. That's it. So, yeah, all I did was get gas. And I'm exhausted at that point, so I think we stay there again. We still don't have power at the house, mind you. And my car is still sitting at a supercharger station outside of a grocery store. Fun. So then the next day, I think it's the next day, my brother, who, like I said, lives about 20 miles away, they still have power. That night, we stay at his house. And also, while we're there, now, I know you guys have heard like the Ring Door app or the Neighborhood app. All these people are just spamming these apps like, what's going on? Do we have power here? Do we have power there? Blah, blah. It's insane. Eventually, I do read on there that there's power in my neighborhood, and then I find out it's on my street. It's about 11 p.m. that night, so we finally get power back. I still stay the night at my brother's house. Then I drive back out here. We have power, but it is still insane to get gas, and I just want you to understand how impossible it is to find gas during this thing. It's Monday now, and you can finally kind of go get gas without waiting 5 hours, but it was like you would have to wake up at, 2, 3 in the morning and just park and wait. And a lot of people were putting in different social media apps like, oh, I heard they're going to have Tinker come into such and such location, and everybody would speed there and there'd be this ginormous line. The other problem is all the lights and everything was out and the police weren't doing a thing. Like now they're out there. The lights are still out, by the way, but now they're out there directing traffic. But there would be a cop car parked at an intersection, sitting in their car while people were just making up rules. Now everybody knows if a light is out, it's a 4-way stop. In Florida, apparently they don't believe that. They just did not care. Actually, I think it's not the Floridians. It's the people that came here because us Floridians know how to drive. Y'all don't. Like I said, Milton came. We survived. I finally get to redo my office now because I did not flood. I'm happy about that. I can get back to doing some work and writing and getting some books out and filming some videos and whatnot. But yeah, so that's my Milton update. Tesla, really? Like, okay, so here's everybody was looking for gas. There was no gas anywhere. People were like, oh my God. And I was like, losers, I got a Tesla. Then it gets a flat tire and it's incapable of getting that flat tire fixed. So it was like Tesla's time to shine. It was its time to just look at all the people that needed gas and honk and laugh. And that thing was sitting up at a supercharger on a jack stand. So I have it back now, but the gas crisis has been averted, so it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, Elon, do better. Put spares in your cars. Those are necessary. Like in times like this, that's my biggest gripe about Tesla. So if you're gonna buy a Tesla, set aside extra money to just get at least a tire or 2 extra tires, wheels, not tires. Tires and wheels, you know what I mean. Get those so that if you ever do have a flat, you can just replace it yourself and you're not really waiting on their tow truck to get you or whatever, because obviously when things go down, and then you're kind of in a bad spot.